Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video today about homeostasis and baseline. Now, if you're in the anxiety circles for long enough, you'll hear that term thrown around a little bit. And I know when I first started hearing about it, it seemed a little confusing. What is baseline? What is homeostasis? For me, homeostasis, when I was in the real thick of anxiety and panic and all of that, it just meant kind of getting back to where I was pre-anxiety, pre-panic attacks. And that was my goal. For recovery, that was my goal, to get back to, you know, homeostasis, baseline. Interesting thing is, as I started to recover, as part of the process of recovering, you become really in tune with your body. You become really in tune with every sensation, every feeling, everything, every thought that kind of goes through there. And so when you do finally start getting back to what memory is telling you is normal, I'll get into that a little bit later too. You you still don't quite feel calm. And the interesting thing was for me is that my homeostasis, my baseline, was already revved up pretty high. Now, for everybody, that's different. For me, it had a lot to do with how I was raised. So my level of alertness, my baseline for what I thought was normal was already elevated. And this is where anxiety, a part of it, there's a part of anxiety for me, has been a blessing. I've been able to get to baseline, which was already a bar set very high. And now I'm working on lowering that bar even more, if that makes sense. And so you start to realize a lot about yourself. And the important thing to remember is, at this point, I'm not hyper aware and hypersensitive to every thought, to every feeling, to every emotion. So I'm able to kind of rationally, think about things a little bit. And so, I was debating a little bit if I should make this video, because a lot of people that might be watching this are very sensitized right now, and they might feel like their mind will come up with ideas as to why you can't recover until you do this, or getting to baseline. What does it even matter if you get to baseline anymore, because it's not full recovery? All these type of things that kind of that your mind will create, right? I mean, this is true. But this is kind of where I feel like people that are halfway through recovery, they might feel like, man, I'm not as sensitized anymore. I don't feel all this panic and anxiety in my chest and my body anymore. But why do I still not feel like things are right? Why do I still feel like things aren't going well? And I feel like this is the part of recovery where personal development starts coming in, right? Because you start to realize is that, shoot, my baseline, my quote unquote homeostasis was revved up pretty high already. For me in particular, like, one of my therapists told me very early on, was that your cup overflowed. You just had too much going on, and your nerves couldn't take it anymore. So I mean, if you think about it, if your baseline is already set pretty high, like, every day, that's kind of what your normal is. It really doesn't take much in terms of prolonged stressors and issues to come up and just kind of overwhelm you to the point of you just can't take it anymore, and your system just kind of completely goes into overdrive, right? And that's what happened to me in my experience. Now I hear a lot of people, they get DPDR with drugs and things like that. That wasn't really my case. But from what I understand in terms of like recovery and things, it's all the same. Recovery is still the same as far as how you recover. So it's really interesting. This has been quite the journey. And you know, when this all first happened with the panic attack, with the sensitized feelings in my chest, and just things like that, and just really health anxiety, and then just DP, that which led to DPDR for prolonged, day in and day out for years. It makes sense as to what ended up happening there initially, and ironically enough, for me personally, it took a few calls with my parents, in listening to them and how they talk and things like that. And I started to realize something. I started to realize that, oh, okay, one of my parents was talking about the fear of death and how if something's not going right, you just fight it. Like you mentally, internally, you fight it because you can't think like that. That's horrible to think that way. You fight it. And I was just listening, and an aha moment came to me. And I was just like, oh my God, this is this is how my baseline came up, right? This is where how I learned how to deal with things, how I learned to respond to respond to things that might not be comfortable. It's just like, you fight it. No, you fight it. Oh my God, I'm so scared of dying. Like, oh my God, my health. And once you make that realization, you also start to kind of realize a few things as to, okay, well, if my parents were the ones that kind of built in this system of, how I, my foundation, who am I really? And, who am I really? And this is where the personal development starts coming in, and that process can be a bit unnerving, honestly. And so, for me, it's more so I'm not trying to find who I am. It's more so just kind of being who I am. It's not a search, because you are who you are, right? And you're in there, right? So, not to get too spiritual and too deep, but it is a very interesting process. The anxiety itself kind of opens the door to areas that need to be healed and to recover. I'm not a big fan of one size fits all. You just do this, you just do this, you just do this. I've spoken to plenty of people where they've done different things and it's worked for different people. I myself, this channel, I just share my own experiences, and I really hope that it resonates with some of you and it helps some of you. And some of you could totally just see it and just be like, hey, this does not make any sense to me at all. I have known people to kind of just practice acceptance completely, and they've been able to recover very quickly. I've also known some people that it just does not work. In my case, the acceptance part, it made a certain part of me feel like I was ignoring, the anxiety, and that just strengthened it in my case. So I had to do different things. I'll make some more videos. I'm trying to keep these videos at 10 minutes and under. And I really hope that it's helping some of you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. I know that some of you have reached out to me on social media and things like that. I just want you to know that this is not kind of like my full-time job or anything like that. And it's much better if you just reach out on the comment section and things like that. Who knows? Maybe at some point I might do something in terms of coaching and things like that. But it's really not in the future for me at all. At least not yet. But hey, you never know. I hope you all are doing well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. All right, thank you.